What is up, Lorain County basketball fans? I'm Rocco Nuosci with another episode of In the Paint, brought to you by First Federal Savings of Lorain. As always, a big shout out to Kristen Bauer behind the camera, and a fun show again for you here this week. More girls breaking the 1,000 point scoring mark, and we'll get to that and much more here again on In the Paint, brought to you by First Federal Savings of Lorain. As we always do, let's start out with who's hot right now in Lorain County, and we'll start with the boys' side of the equation. In the SWC, it's North Ridgeville playing very well right now. They had two huge weekend wins, one in conference, one non-conference. That was wins over Avon and Bay. First-year head coach Ben Chase has the Rangers back to 8-8 on the season, and getting a chance to catch up with him this past Saturday before that win over Bay. Getting back to 500 was a huge benchmark for this Rangers team. They had some shooting woes to start the season. Now some of those outside jump shots are starting to fall, and the Rangers are playing a great brand of basketball. Again, they're at 8-8 on the season. A big Tuesday night matchup this week with Valley Forge. Keep an eye on Jake Boynar, Griffin Toure, and RJ Schneider as kind of the three-headed dragon for the Rangers. Elsewhere in the SWC, it was Olmsted Falls securing the regular season title. I know our coverage with them kind of goes hit or miss at times, but shout out to the Bulldogs for clinching the regular season SWC title on the boys' side. I thought Amherst might have a chance here late in the season, but a couple of slip-ups from the Comets kind of did them in there. Elsewhere on the boys' side, you got Elyria Catholic. They've rattled off 3 straight wins over North Olmsted, Elyria, and Rocky River. Just a couple of regular season games to go for the Panthers before that GLC tournament gets underway. I know that's something that the coaches... There's kind of some mixed feelings on that. Talking with Coach Palmer and Coach Rothgary on the girls' side from Elyria Catholic this past weekend on the WEOL wrap-up show. Again, they both pointed out some positives and some negatives from that early February conference tournament. But again, that GLC tournament going to be getting underway here soon, both for the boys and the girls, and the Elyria Catholic boys playing very well right now as that time approaches. You look at 2 people in particular, Rob Palmer and Jack Keneally for this Panthers team. They're just outstanding. Palmer leads the county in assists right now at over 8 assists per game. I think the next closest is just over 5 assists per game, so really sharing the ball well. And you look at Jack Keneally, second leading scorer in the county at 22.6 points per game, and he's also the leading rebounder in the county at just over 13 points per game. So kind of a two-headed monster approach there for the Panthers. And when Danny Fisher is knocking down perimeter shots, they're tough to beat. So the EC Panthers right now playing some great basketball. And finally, we'll look at Brookside, winners of 6 of their last 7 contests. They knocked off Vermilion and Clearview this past week. Coach Babix continues to change the culture over there with that Brookside basketball program. Our conversation with him this past Saturday was awesome. You can check it out on WEOL.com. On the girls' side of the equation, we start in the Lorain County League with the Firelands Lady Falcons, a team we seem to mention just about every week now. Coach Kudela had his doubts about this season at the start of the year, but they continue to just dominate the Lorain County League right now. They continue to play outstanding ball. Abby Smits is the 5th leading scorer in the county right now, over just over 17 points per game, And you look at Bella Simmons, who is 2nd in the county in both assists and steals. So you got a nice diverse array of talent across the roster, and Coach Kudela's bunch playing some good ball right now. Elsewhere in the Lorain County League, the Keystone girls, winners of 5 in a row. Coach Rocky Houston has his team playing very well right now. And listen, folks, when Delaney Peters gets it rolling, they're hard to beat, plain and simple. I've got to see them once, maybe twice in person so far this season. They're a fun team to watch, no doubt about it. Jessica Forthover, another name for them to keep an eye on. She plays really well for them down low. And Keystone and Firelands, kind of the 2 names at the top of that Lorain County League on the girls' side. The only conference loss this season for Keystone was to Firelands earlier this year. The rematch between those 2 will be in February on the 10th, so you want to keep an eye on that one for sure. In the SWC, Midview has responded very well to their loss against Olmsted Falls. They picked up 2 wins this past week over Avon Lake and Amherst. Olivia DeFranco and Mary Mang, the 2 names to keep an eye on for them. Olivia does the scoring. Mary does the scoring as well, and just about everything else. She rebounds. She blocks shots. Olivia shares the ball as well offensively. I mean, those 2 girls for Midview are outstanding and certainly can carry them to a nice deep postseason run if it's in the cards. And elsewhere with Elyria Catholic on the girls' side, they're playing very well right now. They've won 9 in a row. I know they've got an early week matchup, which could make it 10 in a row for them. They got back-to-back wins over Lutheran East and Valley Forge this past weekend, and I'll actually have more on the EC girls in just a second. So what else is happening around Lorain County right now? Well, the second annual Shaw Classic between Amherst and Keystone. This, of course, is in honor of the late legendary coach Larry Shaw, who spent time at both the Amherst and Keystone communities. The Comets pulled this one out in overtime, 83-75. George Gossis had 22 points to lead the way. Austin Bray and Jordan Corey each with 17-point outings in that one. Christian Paddocky, shout out to him for Keystone, despite the loss, had a double-double, 19 points and 12 rebounds. Back over to EC we go, where Annika Bradel broke the 1,000-point mark earlier this month in a win over Strongsville. So shout out to Annika. Coach Rothgary had very high praise for her on the wrap-up show this past weekend. Again, I encourage you to go check out our conversation with him. Another cool thing with Elyria Catholic, they honored their 2020 State Final Four girls basketball team this past weekend as well. Of course, the girls that year were on their way to the Final Four. COVID hit and things basically got shut down before they even got a chance to step foot in the hotel. So very cool for them to honor that 2020 team. It's just a very cool event that they were able to put on there at Elyria Catholic. And I got to give a shout out to Oberlin as well on the boys side. They had a couple of non-conference losses this month against Elyria and Sandusky, but they're still perfect, in Lorain County League play. A Friday night win over Firelands is massive if they're hoping to win the conference this season. And they've put themselves in a very, very good position to do just that. So quickly here to wrap things up, what is next as far as Lorain County basketball goes? Well, on WEOL, some great games for you this week. On Wednesday night, it's a girls matchup at North Ridgeville as the Lady Rangers play host to Amherst. We'll have that one for you at 7 o'clock. On Friday night, it's boys basketball as Columbia hosts Brookside. Coach Larry Babix and his Cardinals will go visit his former team, the Raiders, as that one should be a good Lorain County League battle, 7 o'clock on Friday night. We'll recap that one and much more on the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show with Jared Kozar and myself Saturday morning from 9 until 11. And stick around for a little matinee girls basketball that afternoon, as we'll have the Amherst Lady Comets on the air once again as they pay a visit to Avon Lake to take on the Shore Gals at 1:30. So that will do it for this week's episode of In the Paint, again brought to you by First Federal Savings of Lorain. This final stretch of the regular season should be fantastic, as the girls tournament is right around the corner, along with that boys tournament as well. Should be very, very exciting times to wrap up this regular season as we look towards postseason play. So a big thank you once again to Kristen Bauer behind the camera. I'm Rocco Nuosci saying thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of In the Paint, brought to you by First Federal Savings of Lorain. We'll see you next time.